Hey, before we get started, we need your help. If you love this podcast, can you do us a favor and tell one other person you think who will also love this podcast? You can send out an email, tweet it, post something in Reddit or social media or in a forum. But you can help us a lot just by telling one person. Thank you very much. Hello, welcome. You're listening to a Band of Gamers podcast. This is episode 206.
Whoa.
Right? In this episode, we've got community feedback regarding our console wars discussion from the last episode, including a Twitter poll results. Bill Spencer, head of Xbox, confirms that the traditional system wars are over. We were onto something last episode, and it might be time to go all digital. I'm going to visit my gaming shelf only to dust it.
Really?
Yeah. The coronavirus is impacting Nintendo Switch production and creating delays. If that virus doesn't get under handle quick, guess which other consoles could see a significant delay? 2020 could end up being a lot different than we're all planning. Ooh. And Shane's buzzy impressions of another simulator game. I'm Joel, your MC, one of your three co-hosts, recording in a suburb of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, a very snowy suburb. But I'm going to San Francisco in a couple days to see Mr. Bungle, so I don't care. Keep snowing. But joining me on this podcast journey from across the globe, my two best mates, first of all, in also snowy Vancouver, Canada, complete with new microwave, it's Shane.
Yeah, I had to buy a new microwave. But I was going into the store, and this guy gets out of his car, and it's like a Sentra or a Corolla or whatnot. One of those little tin can sedans. And he gets out, and the dude's crazy tall. Like, it was just like, whoa. And I noticed that he noticed that I noticed this is a tall dude. So I said, I'm sorry, can I ask how tall you are? He said, it's 6'9". Have you ever seen somebody that's 6'9"? That is like freakishly tall. Like, it was just like, holy crap. And then he carries on his way. And I look back, and he's going into Starbucks, and he had to duck his head like that. He had to duck his head to get in there. Like, I'd never seen somebody that tall in like face to face. It was crazy. Freakishly tall, man.
Everyone's that tall to me, mate.
Well, shit.
I like how you...
Short, but a lot of people are.
I like how you put a microwave intro and take us to a tall guy story. That's fantastic.
I was expecting him to have a microwave under his arm.
No, I got one and brought it home, yeah.
In Birmingham, England, trying to find a sports bar in the San Francisco airport. It's Karl.
Hello. Yeah, my beloved Aston Villa got through to a cup final against Manchester City in just a few weeks. So I will be just about going through the doors into San Francisco Airport, flying out to Las Vegas. And literally the cup final will kick off at that point in time. And I'm like, I've got to, I've not missed a cup final in my life. We don't get too many. We probably get like 2 or 3 a decade, if that. And it's one of them things. I was just, I've got to watch it. And I'm like, I'm figuring how good's the Wi-Fi, like, where are there any bars, will they be showing, an English second cup final in, 8 o'clock, 8:30 in the morning, I think it'll be in San Francisco. So if anyone knows the airport, reasonably well, if they can recommend a bar or somewhere around there that I can get to, then please hit me up, because I am desperate to try and find somewhere to sit there and have a morning beer, a little breakfast pint of Guinness and watch this game.
At least there's no competition. There's no NBA games on at 8:15 in the morning. We should.
Yeah, I was literally,
right.
There should just be that, and no doubt it'll be full of Manchester City fans. So
of course,
landing in San Francisco is pretty wild, because it's like right on the water. So like, you're coming in and you're literally like 15, 20 feet above the water, and then you just touch down. It's crazy. Just adds to my fear of flying. It's great.
I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Well, last episode we talked about console wars, and I put out a little tweet because I was curious. And I tweeted, every battle, this was on our @abandofgamers account, of course, ever battle for one console. And if you did, which? Choices being Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, or the fourth, I just don't favor one console. The results were fascinating. Somewhat not surprising, Xbox with 14.3%, PlayStation 1 big, 52.4%. The I just don't favor one or I don't favor just one, 33.3%. Nintendo, 0%. That's where it surprised me a little bit. Nintendo's kicking some butt, but I think with our listeners or our Twitter followers especially, they probably have an Xbox or a PlayStation and a Switch, not just a Switch. That's my takeaway. What do you guys think?
I think a lot of our listeners are our age, a bit more older, so the chances of only having a Nintendo are really slim, as our poll ended up showing, even though we do have a lot of fans of Nintendo, a lot of Nintendo fans here. But yeah, not too surprised. I'm surprised Xbox wasn't a little bit higher, though. That's oddly low.
Yeah, I'd go the same, with Game Pass and everything else. And let's not forget, Nintendo rocked up late into this console generation with the Switch as well. And the Wii U didn't exactly, set the world alight. So I expected them to get more than 0. I genuinely did. But I think you've got a big chunk there who don't favour one console, so people probably put a bit of a spread in there, but it is quite interesting, because people are showing that everyone's got a first and a second console. Probably the Switches that we've got Switches, we've got probably we don't play them as much as we do on the other consoles and maybe PC. So it sits there as the secondary console. As far as Nintendo's concerned, that'll do them, I think.
Yeah, I'm not battling anybody personally over the System Wars, but I'm grabbing my popcorn and stepping back and watching it whenever I can. I love it. I love when people are nerdily, angrily arguing over one or the other. It's quite entertaining. They're both pretty good, and all three of them are good. But some replies to that tweet from Tim Paulin. Our buddy Tim says, I like console wars. Competition is good for everyone. So true. Mike Patterson. I agreed with what you said on the podcast. I've had at least 2 of the rival consoles each generation all of my gaming life.
Nice.
And then our buddy Dave, or Barzanek, says, I always enjoy the console wars. I was a Sega fanboy till Sony crushed them. I was a fan of the 360 until I had 2 of them die, and then I returned to Sony. I prefer Sony nowadays, but I own an Xbox One S that my son uses, and it has been solid. Game Pass is the best thing in gaming, and I hand a lot of credit to Phil Spencer for fixing Xbox's message. Now I wait for the new, and I'm excited again to start a new generation, just as I have been for so many years. #kid at heart. Then I asked everybody about that Nintendo. I'm like, come on. Anyone? Nintendo? Anyone? Really? 0? Couple replies there. Mike Patterson says, I enjoy Nintendo consoles, but I enjoy the other consoles too, so I couldn't vote for them over anyone else. And DJ Zach Shipley said, if I had to stand for just one, it would be Nintendo, but you gave me the all of the above option. Well, I suppose we did. Touche.
Yeah, that's true. Oh man, it makes you feel a bit sad though. Like even now, you think about Sega, and they were so good, in those early days, the 8-bit and 16-bit systems. It's a shame that they're not doing that anymore. I'm all for more competition. I love it, Joel, like you. People get up, upset about it. My console's got one more teraflop than yours, and my console's got this exclusive, and yours hasn't got any, or it's just got a couple or whatever. And I love how people just get all into it. And when people get animated about it, people get passionate about it. It just creates buzz, doesn't it? And it just keeps it going. Keeps the industry alive and interesting as well. So I'm all for the console wars.
Having been on a PlayStation podcast a bunch of years ago, I still get the occasional jab whenever I'm really cheery about Xbox. So I had tweeted something this past couple weeks. I forget what. Just getting excited for the Project X Cloud, which I think is going to be a potentially great service. And I got a joining the dark side, aren't you? Comment.
Whoa.
Yep.
So you've always been an Xbox guy, though.
Kinda. Yeah. Going back to when it was GameCube, PlayStation 2, and Xbox, I favored the Xbox.
Yep.
Had some downloadable content, had the online service. It's a pretty tight console, hard drive, and I like the Xbox. I got burned like Dave with the 360 a couple times. I mean, that hurt a little bit. But at that point, I had invested so much in Xbox Arcade, and I mean, they had achievements. That's way before trophies. And back then, I kind of was big into achievements, but that's back before they figured achievements and trophies out, and achievements were really easy. You get like 1,000 gamer score just for beating the campaign. That's when I liked it. Now it's
The glory days.
much more difficult and challenging. Speaking of Xbox, the head of Xbox, Phil Spencer, says that Amazon and Google are their competition, not Sony nor Nintendo. This, according to an interview he did with Protocol. Got a quote here. When you talk about Nintendo and Sony, we have a ton of respect for them, but we see Amazon and Google as the main competitors going forward. That's not to disrespect Nintendo and Sony, but the traditional gaming companies are somewhat out of position. I guess they could try to recreate Azure, which is their Project X Cloud, but we've invested tens of billions of dollars in cloud over the years. He added, I don't want to be in a fight over format wars with those guys, while Amazon and Google are focusing on how to get gaming to 7 billion people around the world. Ultimately, that's the goal.
That's really great. That's a really great, business model in 2020 for a console. That is very honorable, and I think that's the way to go. That is, yeah. I was reading that earlier, and it was, that's brilliant.
I don't know, dude. It sounds like damage limitation to me out the gate. It's like, oh yeah, they're not really our competitors. Let's not worry too much about those numbers. And getting gaming to 7 billion people around the world, that's all well and good if they want to, if they're up for gaming. But let's not forget how that Google Stadia is looking at the minute. It still seems so far away, and whether Xbox like it or not, they are rivals to Sony, and I just think that's them just going, we're not going to worry too much about that. So people are like, it gives the people ammunition to argue about, doesn't it? When it's like, oh, Sony's getting Microsoft, and they go, oh, do you know what? No, they're not our competitors. It's all good. We're not worried about them. Yeah, it sounds like a bit of I'm not going to say scared talk, but just seems like he's setting that bar down there.
Tune in next week for Karl's conspiracy theories.
I'm kind of buying it. I'm in on what he's saying here. From all accounts, people that are in the beta for Project X Cloud, hearing some really good things. And couldn't it be true that cloud gaming is the future? Haven't we been hearing this for the last 5 years about how consoles won't be necessary? You'll just have an account, you'll have your games, a controller, maybe an app on your TV, or play it on your smartphone. And it's from what it seems, going to be leading that charge against at least their no longer competition, Nintendo and Sony. And Amazon and Google's obviously fallen flat on their face at the moment and not looking very good right now, having launched a product. Xbox Project X Cloud is in beta, and Google is out. And apparently Project X Cloud is already performing better than Google Stadia. And they're calling it a beta, right? So it hasn't even officially launched. But Amazon, I don't know what it's like for you guys in Canada and Europe, but Amazon has taken over the world here. And if they come out with some sort of platform, which it looks like they're going to, they've got more money than probably these two companies combined, Sony and Microsoft. Both have deep pockets, but Amazon is just loaded. And if they put a lot of assets and revenue into a cloud-based streaming platform, and if Project X Cloud becomes more of the future, or cloud gaming, I think what he's saying is true. And maybe he's puffing his chest out and talking about how proud he is a little bit of that Project X Cloud.
You make a good point on Amazon, and it does come down to price point for me, especially if you're talking about a digital streaming service. Amazon are they're making big waves. For football over in England, they bought Premier League rights to show 2 games in December. Now, one of these was Boxing Day, like over Christmas, and usually that's like prime time for after your Christmas dinner. The next day, everyone goes down the match, or you're watching on the telly. It's quite a big thing, and everyone loved their coverage. Pretty much the interwebs and social media was full of like how great a job Amazon did, and all they did was just include this in the cost of Prime. So if you think about that, install base is already there. Everyone uses them. They're probably locked in with shopping, with TV. If they can filter something in, and give them like a Prime Plus or a Prime Gaming or something, they do the music, they do this, that, and the other. We've seen with Xbox how brilliant Game Pass is. The combination with Ultimate, and you've still got the games of gold. You can still buy the physical stuff if you want to do it. That's the model. I think Google have just massively shot themselves in the foot. Not to say they won't recover from it, but it was all wrong. And there was nothing that they didn't have a captive user base already, which Amazon do have if they can get the technology to go. So it's going to be super interesting of where this goes now. And I'm not Xbox, like you say, Joel. We've heard some great things about this program at the minute and how good the cloud is for them. It raises a few questions. That there's people. Do you want to do it all on streaming? We've still got the same questions people were asking years ago. Okay, technology is getting better, internet connection is getting better, but it's still. I think to make that leap, Amazon is the one I would watch out for, and I think Xbox are right to say, yes, that's a concern, that's a competitor, because if you get your gaming on there and you're already paying for Prime, you might cancel your Xbox subscription. So that's the real threat for them.
And they would tie in their gaming service into Prime as it is, and just it's launched and it's included in your Prime membership. Obviously, a year later they'll up it, $20 or whatever, but they can afford to wrap all that up together. And don't they already own or they're partnered with Twitch? So that's already tied in. The foundation's already there, and all they had to do is announce it. And hey, everybody that's got Prime, which is a lot of people there, it's already tied in. You already have your gaming account. Go buy a controller and done.
Exactly right, dude. And they have also, it's probably been about 2 years now. If you are a Amazon Prime subscriber, you get Twitch Prime for free. And if you have Twitch Prime, you generally get probably, I'd say, in between 10, 12 games a year at least, free games given to you through Twitch. So you've already built up a bit of a library there. So those two ecosystems are tied already. People who've got to play their games through Twitch are like, well, I've got to keep that Prime going anyway. If they continue subtly doing it in that way, and who knows, maybe they can just use that platform to boost it up. It's certainly really an interesting one, I think. And Microsoft are not wrong. I know we're joking a bit early, but they're not wrong to be keeping an eye on Amazon.
And you guys make great points. I didn't even think about this, but now that you mention it, you're welcome. You're already paying for Amazon Prime, or a lot of people are. And with Xbox, you're already paying for Game Pass or Xbox Live. It's like your checking account's already connected. You're already used to giving them some money. Now, whether that changes by $2 a month or whatever, it's probably minimal. You're already in their ecosystem. So they just flip a few knobs and on their back end, assuming they've got all this cloud gaming where it needs to be with internet and proper frame rates and everything else, which I think both Amazon and Microsoft are in a position to do. They are in the driver's seat right now. You're already paying for the services. They just tack on a little bit more and you're in. You've already got a controller. You've already got a smartphone. Everybody's got a smartphone. Just tap that thing up in front of you on a plane or something, carry your Xbox controller with you, and you're playing all your games. I think that's they have a big chance here to be in the driver's seat. And Amazon in the States here, and I forget their marketing jargon. I forget what they call it, but they have used some sort of marketing speech for their back end computer systems, and they have all these advertisements like the NFL and the little robot vacuum and all these different services use the power of Amazon's cloud computer system. And because of that computer system, they have faster systems, better statistical tracking, better logistical tracking, so on and so forth. So they already have a hell of a back end, apparently.
Yeah. Scary, isn't it, now that we think of it?
Absolutely. And that's where Sony, well, definitely Nintendo, but certainly Sony would be at a massive disadvantage because PlayStation Plus still gives good value, I do think. But the longer that they're not doing something, they need to say PS Now, PS Plus combined together. That's it. Like, job done. And even then, they're only going to be giving you the same as Microsoft will be with Games Gold and Game Pass. But at the moment, when they have got these two different things within their own ecosystem, which is like, okay, it's confusing. You're not going to subscribe to both. And the Switch doesn't really offer, although it's cheap to go online, you get the SNES library and the NES library. It's going to take more work for them to be able to step up and compete. And yeah, it's interesting, really. Amazon could just, at the flick of a switch, like you say, Joel, they could change it overnight.
We know Microsoft's been talking to Nintendo. They're already starting to give them some of their first-party games like Cuphead and Ori, putting on their platform. Kind of can see coming or predict here, and it's rumored that Sony's talking to them now too. Couldn't they just put an app on the Switch and you log into your Xbox Live account and you use that device to play on Project xCloud? I mean, it seems highly likely, and why wouldn't Nintendo do that? It's going to sell more Switches. Seems like a no-brainer move.
As long as it's reciprocated back the other way as well, perhaps Nintendo are like, well, actually, maybe they can offer those games played on Xbox as well. Maybe there's a couple of Nintendo titles perhaps that go the other way. It certainly could work. It'd
be surprising because Nintendo's obviously very protective of their first party. Mm-hmm. They've never done what Microsoft is doing with Minecraft and Cuphead and Ori and putting it on other platforms. Minecraft especially is even available on PlayStation. But PlayStation, so back to Phil Spencer's point, he's not competing with Nintendo and Sony. Does Sony see this as the future? Do you think they think cloud gaming is the future, or are they really happy selling the most consoles right now and think that's enough to float that business? Are they looking at that future, or are they like, nope, we sell the most consoles, we have these great first-party games, we're going to keep doing what we're doing. You can say all you want about Amazon, and you can go and do whatever you want with your cloud-based system. We're kicking your butt, we don't care about that. Is there any complacency with Sony potentially in that regard? What do you think?
I think there's still enough of there's enough passionate gamers out there that much prefer physical media. And I think with everything going to like cloud-based systems and whatnot, somebody's going to have to kind of keep doing it. And I think that's maybe what their thoughts are. And, I mean, obviously, the three of us don't know for sure, but I could see them sticking with that. And because people like having games on their shelf, people like pulling them off, holding them on. This my copy of Borderlands 3, we had an epic platinum to share and, with friends or whatnot that are over and whatnot. It's some great stories that could be that are told so much better once you have the, physical item in your hand. So they could be just maybe, just sticking to their guns on that and keeping that, area of the industry happy, I guess.
Yeah, I think they've got one more console left to do that. Like, we could release a PS5 and it could be nothing about streaming. The first party games are more than good enough to carry the console if the trend continues, from what we see on the PS4. So I don't think it'd be a massive concern for them. But who knows? Who knows what will happen at the back end? I think if they release a PS5 and it's not streaming, they're not into it. But it is backwards compatible with everything else. I think that's just enough of a tick in the box to just carry on.
So with everything going to a cloud-based, more digital type of gaming, Joel, where are you on this? Are you going you crossing the line, going over to the proverbial dark side of digital games, or are you going to keep stacking that shelf there?
I am thinking about going more digital. So
whoa.
I'm all in on Game Pass. I really love Game Pass. I'm happy with the Xbox console. I do need a Sony PlayStation because of God of War and all those other great games. I said Last of Us 2 is coming. I still want to play those games. Like I can't like just get rid of it. I still need both. But I'm starting to believe in cloud-based gaming. And I think with what Microsoft is doing with Game Pass, I think it might be a big deal for me. And I'm already considering I haven't bought any games yet this year. I'm sticking to my backlog challenge. I'm still doing well. I haven't spent a single dollar on video games this year. But when I start buying new games, I may buy the digital license on Xbox in anticipation of Project X Cloud. I think I may do it. You know, this is going to sound really lazy, but it's the truth. I've been playing a lot of Red Dead Redemption 2, my backlog game. I use my Xbox to watch like 4K Blu-rays, and pretty much all movies, all the discs I put in are in that machine. And there've been a few times where I want to sit down and play Red Dead. I only got like a half hour, maybe play a mission or something. And I've got the Batman DVD in from the other night. And I'm like, oh crap, now I got to get up, go find where I put Red Dead. It's on the shelf. I got to go grab it. Because it's been like, why don't I just buy this game digitally and not have the hassle? Because Xbox has conditioned me with all of these Game Pass games, my Gears, Forza, Halo, everything is right there. I never have to grab the disc. I'm completely conditioned just to fire it up and go. Then when I have to grab the disc, and again, sounds lazy, but truth, I'm like, crap, I got to go get the disc. It's in the other room. I also have two Xboxes. I've got one in my man cave where I have my primary gaming spot, but then I've got one upstairs by our other TV, or kind of in the kitchen area, right off the kitchen. So in the morning when I'm having my coffee, getting ready for work, I'm not making the investment to come downstairs, fire up the huge TV in the Xbox and play a game for half an hour. I'm really easy to turn on the other TV, the other Xbox, and while I'm drinking my coffee, in conversation room with my wife, and the morning is still still kind of getting up and at it at the day, fire up a mission or two of Red Dead. But here again, I've got to go grab the disc, which at this point is either in the Xbox downstairs or on the shelf. I mean, I've been tempted to buy that game digitally just so I could have it on both televisions in a moment's notice. Because the way their save files work, they're constantly saving it to the cloud. I can play on one system one night, next morning fire up the other one, and my game save is there without me having to do anything. No hassle, just automatically is pushed to the other console. And it's got me thinking, man. I mean, digital licenses, for me at least, might be the way I go. It's difficult though, because I do have a really nice gaming shelf. I love having the hard copy. I mean, I'm so used to that. I like looking at the gaming shelf. I like standing there and oogling at it and grabbing something and playing. But man, it's just the convenience of the digital is really starting to get to me.
The problem I have is I've just been jotting down while you've been talking there, Joel. The amount of digital games, not necessarily the amount of digital games, there's a lot that I've got, but it's the amount of different infrastructures that I've got these on. Like, so PS4, obviously, let's just say Sony, Microsoft. Got games on the Switch on digital. I've also still got games on the Wii and the Wii U in a digital format, which have, pretty much gone away. The Twitch launcher, EA's Access launcher, Steam, the Epic Store, good old games, Activision, Blizzard's launcher, Ubisoft, Rockstar. So all of those, I've got digital games in every single one of those. That's too much to keep track of. And
Yeah.
It gets to the point where, and everyone does that little thing, like the Epic launcher at the minute, they're like, it is a new game every month or whatever, 2 games, I can't remember. And I find myself going in, I've got to pick that game up. I don't want to lose that digital game. And I end up forgetting what I've got everywhere. I think if I was going to go digital, I'd have to commit to one thing and be like, right, do you know what? If I'm going to go digital, I'll go PC all day. The games are half the price. The performance is better. It makes no sense for me with a PC to become a digital console gamer. It just doesn't really make any sense to me. And that's the kind of hole that I've fell into. I'm more than happy to buy games on Steam digitally because they're a couple of quid, and I'm like, oh, I'm meant to play that, and I never get around to playing it. They sit there. This is what I'm doing, the bloody backlog thing. But if I'm buying a game on console, I'd be like, right, I'm going to buy that physically, play it. Maybe I keep it after if I really dig the game, or 9 times out of 10, if the shelf is getting a bit full, then I might exchange those or sell those games. Trying to get out of that habit, but I'm also trying to get out of the habit of having too much on the shelf. So I'm kind of stuck in the middle of I've got all these different places to pick up a game. What's the best for me? I like the achievements, I like the trophies, I like that side of it as well. And some of the online services are better than others. It just feels like a minefield to be committing to saying I'm going to go all digital, and then certainly to go I'm going to stream everything.
Sounds like you're burning the controller at both ends there, Chief.
Well, I'm certainly burning the bank balance, and I don't know about the controller because I'm never playing them. You should see how many RPGs are on my wish list. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'll get that on there. And then I think, oh no, I bought this the other week. I bought this on the PS4. And you chaps will see this. Joel and Shane we've got a little spreadsheet between us all, and the amount of ones that I've got will own it on Steam and PS4.
Oh man,
and Xbox. And I'm like, I need to get out that habit. So I don't know. Like if I was like you, Joel, if I'm like, right, I can live in one infrastructure, and I'm just going to do it, and I'm going to commit to digital games on there. And again, when get them on sale, get them when they're having out for a bit, and when you've got the time to play them, when they're a good price, that appeals rather than just buying it day one in a physical format.
Well, and plus Xbox makes it easy because they're giving you all their first-party games as part of Game Pass. So it's like you're getting, if you're committing, if I'm committing to that system, which I'm not, but because I'm still going to play the other stuff, I haven't decided yet, right? Just to stick to just one.
Yeah.
But if you have all, if you have all,
a couple more pulls.
That's right. If you have all three, I would buy the digital for Xbox because I already have so much content there that I'm already in that infrastructure. I'm already in that system. And that was the point of my whole conversation. I mean, and to your point, Karl, you've got them all over the place, but you have the same problem with the physical media that you do the digital media. Are you going to buy the PS4 version, the PC version, maybe? Well, physical and PC are probably kaput, right? Can't go to the store and get those anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
But Switch, PlayStation, if you buy one of those formats in a physical form, you can't play it on the other systems. But with Xbox, your PC game, if you buy it on Xbox, you can play it on the PC. If you got Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, you can play all those games on the PC. If you buy the digital license, which you can't play it on the Xbox because you got rid of it, you can play it on the console and the PC. It seems like a safe place to buy a digital. And this is why I keep hearing why Stadia is doing so poorly, is they haven't put out many games for the paid subscribers. And you've got to pay full price for the digital games. So games like Tomb Raider, who've been out for a year, where you can get everywhere for $20, $30, they have on their platform for $60. It's like, no, I'm not going to do that. Xbox, at least like Sony, has got sales and has deals where you can wait a little while and get it cheaper.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I mean, my problem might be a little bit different, I guess, but yeah, I'd still like that physical copy of a game, though. I do. And like when you look back at some of the, if the subscription, if the online service goes off, disappears, and you think, you've lost that forever. So that's the other thing, I guess. But I'm certainly not averse to buying digital games. That's for sure.
Yeah, and let us know what you think. Send us an email, abogpod@gmail.com, and we'll include, hopefully, some conversation on the next episode. When Karl's not with us, you're not with us next episode. You're in the States, potentially.
Rip.
Oh, man. Don't say stuff like that when I've got to get on planes. Yeah, no, I'll be with you in spirit, and I may there may be a little segment. I might chip in with some opinions through the wonders of the pre-recording. But yeah, I shall miss the next one, sadly.
You're going to be on the lookout for that coronavirus when you're on the plane traveling all the way halfway across the world, making sure no one from
a massive face mask thing on. So just don't touch anybody, wearing gloves and everything. In fact, I might go full biohazard suit. We'll see. Keep your germs to yourself, folks.
Well, unless you got your head in the ground, you've heard about the coronavirus. Nintendo has put out a little bit of some news lately that their manufacturing and their production is delayed because of their plant being in China. If they're some places out of Switches, and Switches are still selling great, but there might be a little bit of a delay with getting some new Nintendo Switches over. And Sony and Microsoft use a lot of these same Chinese plants. Foxconn is one of the big ones. Makes a lot of the chips used in all three of the consoles. And they have recently sent all of their workers home to protect them and to make sure that they're not catching the coronavirus at work, which is delaying chips not only on Nintendo, but on every electronics device. And we are right about at the time where Sony and Microsoft are going to start manufacturing the Xbox One Series X and the PlayStation 5. So unless they get this coronavirus in China under control quickly, there could be potentially an impact, if at least not just a delay, on these next-gen consoles. What
couldn't happen at a worse time of year either with Chinese New Year that just happened because all the plants and everything shut down for a couple of weeks, for celebrations and whatnot. So, it already pushes a lot of manufacturing back as it is, and tack on who knows how long. Could be a couple months, and that's a huge hit.
Yeah, they got to get out ahead of production with these consoles, right? They got to have a lot ready to go. There's always usually supply-demand issues potentially when a new console launches, but there's plenty in the market. A lot of people end up getting them. It could be really tough to get your hands on, and who knows, they could potentially delay launching the next-gen systems if this gets any worse. And checking the news lately, it's not getting any better yet. They're really struggling with this virus. A lot of people, sadly, are passing away, and it's nasty.
Yeah, I think this is a lot worse than what they're letting out there. I mean, you don't shut down highways and whatnot for entire cities over, the flu or whatnot. Personally, I think they tried to create some sort of, virus and whatnot, and it kind of got out. And not one.
Not one to speculate, surely. Not a man of your position.
So yeah, tune in next episode for more conspiracies.
This thing will get all over the world, I would suppose, and it'll fizzle out like everything else. But it could impact. If you look at some of the footage, you can just jump on the internet. Some of the shots of, like Shane said, highways, cities, just complete lockdown, and this is something that they need to get sorted out. But in the grand scheme of things, video games play second fiddle to all that. Let's just hope it gets sorted out quickly, and hopefully before I'm hopping on planes with lots of recycled air.
Yeah, now that you I'm glad you brought that up. I am feeling now, didn't think of it at the time when I put this into the agenda, but now feeling bad for worrying about my consoles when you've got people out there dying with these nasty viruses. So that's the bigger problem. I hope I hope they get this under wraps and the world can be a safe place for everybody. And I'll stop worrying about whether or not I'm going to have my Xbox ready to go come fall.
Right.
Very selfish, but it's making news. Thought we'd bring it up. First world problems. Games. Let's talk about some games. Karl and I will quickly go through our backlog updates. And then Shane's got some impressions of a game, a new simulator game he's been playing. And that last simulator game got some good feedback. So
it's a fun one, man.
Apparently that's your thing now, right? Simulator games?
Guess so, man. I enjoy them.
So I've been playing, I mentioned it a few minutes ago, I've been playing Red Dead Redemption 2. And normally I'm a guy that sticks right to the campaign. I'm not going to play 100 hours in something. I just want to get through, see the story. But I find myself in Red Dead doing all the little side stuff. Like I am just all over the place with that game. So I am not focusing at all on the story. And I'm doing every time I walk, ride my horse by someone who's like, help over here. I'm like, okay, hold on. My wife's usually watching me. She's like, go help them. Don't just keep going. Go help them. So I'm getting totally sidetracked in that game. but I'm loving the world. That's such a great, beautiful landscape. That open world in Red Dead is just wonderful to play around in. I love the motif, the Wild West. I love the views. I mean, one of my favorite places to visit and vacation is Wyoming. I've been there a few times, and I feel like I'm on vacation in Wyoming every time I play that game. Just the landscapes are beautiful. That's me with my backlog. 18 weeks from now, maybe I'll get through that game. I don't know, but enjoying the hell out of it.
Nice. No, good to hear, mate. Good to hear you know, getting something out of that game. Like you, I don't tend to dally around with side quests and things. You know, I'm more of a like, you know, I'm going to mainline that story, just get through it. And I couldn't really figure out what to play the other day, so I put a poll up. I was like, right, here's a few options. And the Witcher 3 expansion, the first expansion, Hearts of Stone, came out at the top of that little poll. And I was like, yeah, okay, I'm into that. That's fine. Jumped back into The Witcher, realised I'd played 533 hours of that game before playing the DLC. So that was a little bit of a surprise. I knew I'd put a few hundred hours in, but that was surprising. But it's now 544 hours at the time of writing, having that expansion done. A little bit of why it's taken me so long to play this game. I finished The Witcher 3, loved it in 2015, game of the year. And I hadn't picked the DLC up. I just got the main game. And something else came out. I think I traded it. I was like, right, okay, I've done it. I won't be playing it again for a while. I'll pick it up digitally at some point. Picked up the digital version on the PS4 with all the DLC, Game of the Year edition. Boom, brilliant, great. The game save wasn't compatible. So I was like, oh, okay. So I thought, well, I'm going to play through the whole thing again. I'm going to start it over. I'll play through it all again on console. You know, 6 months passed, year passed. And it was on sale on Steam, the Game of the Year edition. So I was thinking, well, if I'm going to play it through from the start, I might as well play it on the best version I can play. So I might as well buy it on PC. You know, a year passed, haven't played it either. And then I saw the DLC standalone for sale on the PS4, and I'd bought the disc again. So I bought the DLC on the PS4, and that's how I've come to play it this time around. So I also have the disc on Xbox as well, even though I haven't got an Xbox anymore. So the first expansion pack for this, 10 hours long, Hearts of Stone, it kind of fits in nicely after the main story. It's basically centered around a couple of new characters, and a chap called Olgerd von Everec, who kind of ropes you into doing a bit of a dirty deed for him, killing a monster. Turns out the monster isn't really what it seemed, and you end up getting captured and taken away for execution. And a mysterious gentleman called Gaunter O'Dim kind of steps in and says, "Oh, I'll help you out, Geralt. You know, if you do me a couple of favors, you know, owe me one sort of thing, and you have no choice. You have to accept it." And you end up doing the stories of Olgerd and Gaunter are linked together, and you end up having to do 3 seemingly impossible tasks for Olgerd in order to pay back your debt to Gaunter. So it kind of intertwines a couple of different stories, and it's fun, new characters, a couple of different experiences as well in terms of the gameplay, where you kind of, it's a bit more story heavy. You know, there's still some action, still some mini bosses, things like that, but generally it's a lot of kind of, you know, experiencing a bit more history of of everything that goes on in their world. So yeah, thoroughly enjoyed playing through it, as you would have guessed. The second lot of DLC, I think Blood and Wine is about 20 hours, so it's quite more substantial. So I'm not sure. I'll put another poll up, I think, probably during while I'm away on holiday, and then I'll see what I'm going to jump into next. And I probably won't. Sorry, Dave. A couple of other people have suggested going straight into the next Witcher expansion. I probably will give it a little bit and jump into something a little bit different before I get into that. But yeah, I'm glad I got through it, and it's nice to tick this off the pile of shame.
Well done, man. It's been a long time since that came out. You being a giant Witcher fan.
5 years.
Finally getting to it. That's awesome. Is it giving you the bug again? I mean, are you feeling like, I know you got holiday coming up, so it's hard to play your PC games on a holiday.
Yeah, it definitely gave me the bug to carry on playing in that world, and I kind of forgot just how great it was. I will say, like, the game graphically has aged a little bit. like, in terms of the facial animations and, the graphics there, but it still looked, the scenery and that, it still looks gorgeous just riding around. So I could quite easily just while away the hours there, and I'm sure I will carry on doing that when I get round to the second expansion. But yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe finish up Dark Souls 3. Been looking at that. I had a little play of that My Friend Pedro the other day, and that looks really cool. So I might just jump into that. We'll see what people think.
Well done, Shane. Simulator
All right.
time. Simulator time.
Here we go. Game that I've been wanting to play for a little bit, for a few weeks at least. Bee Simulator. Yes, Bee Simulator. And what it is it's a simulation style game where you're a bee. But the whole kind of premises that they're doing is, kind of bringing awareness and whatnot to the depletion of the bee population. So it's very charming in that way. There's like a somewhat long intro where they, really touch on that and, the problems and whatnot, pesticides and whatnot, which is, a major issue in the world right now. But it's, so you basically start the game off, you're inside the hive, you're a bee, you learn to fly around. It's pretty neat, kind of interesting. And they send you off to meet the queen, and the queen will assign you what type of bee you will be. And surprise, surprise, you're a honey bee, so a little worker bee. So they send you out to collect pollen and pollinate flowers and take it back to the hive, deposit it so they can make that sweet nectar honey. Delicious. Now, my thoughts and the reason I want to play Bee Simulator, and I'm going to be honest here. I wanted to sting people. I want to sting people. I want to find like a little kid,
Wow.
like an 8-year-old, 6-year-old, and then just like, fly around, maybe get into his shirt under his collar and just machine gun him, just light him up. You know what I mean? Like to me, it's nothing better than see kids get stung by bees. It's great, because they try to pick them up and they freak out. Well, that's glorious. Love it. Kids wiping out. Well, that's that there is a bit of a with great responsibility comes great responsibility, I guess. But I soon found out actually this game's pretty relaxing. Flying around, just looking for different types of pollen. There's, your normal pollen, then there's like elite pollen, some stuff that, you got to seek out. You can get turned into like a bit of a bee vision. You click on one of the sticks and it's like a first person view. So you got like that bee eye thing going with the whole view where you can kind of see like right in front of you, but your peripheral is, quite blurry and kind of, like a fly, same kind of, they have the same kind of anatomy. No, well, close enough.
Yeah, they're bugs.
Yeah, so it's kind of neat flying around, and then you can land on stuff. You can land. There's people picnicking in the park. You can land on their food and eat some of the food and whatnot on there. So it's great. You can fight wasps, which is really cool. It almost goes to like a turn-based kind of battle, and it gets kind of like a little bit of a Rockman thing where you got to hit triangle and square at the right moments when the lines are at the bottom, and then you beat up a wasp. It's great, It mixes that up a little bit, and you take off and continue on your journey. It's great, and you fly up to by people's faces, and they start kind of swatting at you. Get you out of here. It's so relaxing. It's just cool. You just fly around, do your thing. It's great. And then I got to this mission where I had to almost get a race another bee, or you actually have to catch the other bee. And the way Bee Simulator handles when you're flying, it's a little bit floaty. It kind of dips and kind of it's just floaty. And trying to race, it was extremely hard to do because you have to hit these checkpoints and you have to be going fast enough to be able to catch this other bee. If you miss too many checkpoints, it starts you over from the very beginning, and you can't really get out of the mission unless you complete it. So it kind of the experience kind of locked up for me on that matter, and I kind of turned it off, and then it's kind of whatever, and went back into it, and now I'm just kind of just enjoying flying around, just being chill, not really doing any racing missions for some time now because they're really. I don't know if you guys played when they added racing into Assassin's Creed games, where you'd have to race a buddy on like rooftops and whatnot. It was so irritating for me. I hated those missions. Like they're just awkward, kind of clunky at times. The running, and you'd end up, wanting not quite to cut a corner, but the way the animations work, it would kind of put you up. It was really frustrating, and I started to feel that way doing that mission. But outside of that, man, it's kind of cool. It's charming. It's got a good message behind it. It's you meet like elder bees that have been working there for hundreds of years. I don't think a bee lives for hundreds of years, but
no.
You can dance. You can make your bee do a little dance where he kind of does like a little barrel roll and whatnot. It's kind of neat. It's a charming little game. But yeah, if there was a way I could skip around, not having to do that mission, boy, that would be a big help moving forward. But it's one of those ones I'll just put on when, just chill, maybe put some tunes on, just relax and just kind of get into it and enjoy the whole experience of simulating the life of a bee. So,
PlayStation, well, I take it 4.
Sorry,
PlayStation 4. That's where you're playing this.
Oh yes, sir. Yeah, yeah. I don't just like to, mention where I play it, because to me, and this probably goes back to the whole console wars thing. To me, it doesn't matter what you're playing games on. I mean, we're all playing games, we're all enjoying them. It doesn't matter what you're playing on there, or you're playing it on this one, so that means that the frame rate sucks and you're playing the shitty version. Yes.
Well, that's where
playing the game, man.
That's where I was headed for sure. No, I was just curious, where you can buy it, where you can play it.
Yeah. I mean, you could. I think it's digital. There is physical. I mean, I have the physical copy. I mean, you can buy it wherever. How much is it? I don't know. I don't know how much it is because I just bought it. I put my pin in. They put it in a bag, and I take it home.
That's how you roll.
Yeah, that is how I roll. I spy.
I like the whole mention of elite pollen. If you find this special pollen, it's elite pollen.
Yes,
and then you get that's very gamey. A bit of a gamey bit there. And then the bee simulation. Did you sting any kids? Did you get the
No, I've not yet stung any kids. I just got kind of sidetracked with just flying around and popping balloons and landing on like a cow or something. There's like a little zoo area and whatnot. And fighting wasps. Cool stuff.
I like that, man. Wasps ruin my fantasy football party like every other year. Those bastards.
Oh, they're the worst.
They are. Bees, though.
Just get rid of them.
So helpful. Necessary.
Yeah, they don't die when they sting you either, man. So they can literally machine gun you if they get into your shirt. And they put off that scent, and it tells all their buddies to come over. I'm in trouble. So before you know it, you got like 60 whamps on you or something, man.
Is that what it is? Is that okay? Now that's interesting. That's a simulation right there. Is that why when you get one, you get like 12 because they put out a scent?
With wasps, yeah, they will put off some I don't know, scent or
pheromone or something.
Yeah, sure.
I like that. I'm adding educational to our description for ABOG right now.
There you go.
Nature, yeah.
But yeah, it's cool. So
nice.
If you're afraid of bees or allergic to them, this is a safe way to go. You'll be all right.
Are you looking at another simulator game?
I've been
no
spoilers.
But you've got anything coming up?
Not right at the moment. I think I should probably get to work on the backlog.
Well, Karl's gone next episode, so you got to help me out here, man. Bring something. Bring a simulator game, something.
Buddy, I don't bring something. I always bring something.
Of course you do. That came out bad.
Yeah, it'll be fun. We'll have something. I've been looking at that car mechanic simulator, but that just seems too much like work.
Yeah, Working on a
Yeah.
car is a pain in the ass.
Yeah, especially when you work in the industry. It's like, no, I could just go to work and get paid to do this. So, but no, yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll definitely have something upcoming for you guys. But also, what I did is I put in the work, I put in the effort, and I platinumed. Bit of an e-penis here, not quite, because it's actually takes some grinding.
Ooh.
But I platinumed Need for Speed Heat.
Well done.
Yes, dude.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
There you go.
Guys.
Tick
yes.
that box.
Right.
Platinum.
But the cool thing is I platinumed it on February 2nd. So my platinum, and this is really cool. You're going to love this. I platinumed it on 02/02/2020 at 2:22 p.m. What?
That is awesome.
Shut up.
Yeah. I think there's a post on our Facebook and Instagram and whatnot where I screenshotted that because it was just so cool. That just never happened. So yeah, I was really proud of that one. But yeah, great game. Talked about it last show. So good. Such a great Need for Speed game.
I might have to check that out because it's on 10 hours free on EA Access.
Ooh.
Yep, first 10
Probably hammer
hours.
through the story in that amount of time.
It's all Red Dead for me at the moment, but at least that one I don't have to get up and get the disc.
Right.
Can't be buggered to get up and get the disc. I mean, come on.
You need to get yourself a grabber like a claw. It's like,
Claw.
I'm the opposite of lazy, but just something about that, man. Something about that.
Why is there barbecue sauce on the claw again, Joel?
There's always barbecue sauce on there. What's going on? Well, we haven't had a recommended record in a few episodes. Going on, right? We decided to focus the show a little bit more on video games. Bring you maybe a more polished gaming show rather than trying to cover too many bases. But Brad has stepped it up, filling the void for us. And Brad, if you're not familiar, writes on our website at bandofgamers.com. You should go there and check out the blog, which is all Brad, because he does all the writing for us. But he's got a recommended record. And that is Beach Slang's The Deadbeat Bang of Heartbreak City, which I have to write down. I'm listening to this record a lot, but I got to write that one down. That's hard to remember. The Deadbeat Bang of Heartbreak City. That's a mouthful.
Totally. I've been saying it as Beat Dead Gang for like days. So
he put it in our Discord like we did. Solicited some feedback. I think just us provided some feedback for him. Then he wrote a nice review. It's on our website. Go check it out. We've also got a YouTube playlist right there. So if you want to listen to the record, read his review, and then drop a comment on the website, let us know what you think about the record. We'd love to hear that. So look for that over at abandofgamers.com. You can find the link right on all of your devices there. Next up, he's got Green Day's Father of All Motherfuckers, which is not hard to remember, like the Deadbeat Bang of Heartbreak City.
Certainly jumps out at you.
Does. So he's got that in the Discord right now, and in 2 weeks, or roughly 2 weeks from the release date of this episode, he'll put up a blog post. So we'd love to hear your thoughts on Father of All Motherfuckers. And Shane's already dropped his thoughts in there. If you want to read Shane's thoughts there, go join our Discord. If you're not already on it. Find the thread there. Check out the record. Shane, quickly, you want to share your thoughts, or is it going to make people read it? You're a big Green Day guy. Everyone knows you, listens long enough, knows that. What do you think of that new Green Day record?
Yeah, you definitely want to, head over to Discord and, see a little bit more in depth, even though it's not. Yeah. I'm very much enjoying it. Very much so. I'm glad they're just doing something that's fun, easy to listen to, not overthinking it, not trying to send a message or anything, just having a good time. And it's the type of record I've wanted to hear from them in a long time. in a long, long time. Just go back to fun, and there they are. So very much enjoying it. But yeah, you definitely want to get over to our Discord server, and when Brad posts that up, he's gonna have some great words. He's very, very good at what he does with his blog posts, his write-ups, his album reviews. He definitely has a knack for that, and definitely go over there, put your thoughts in there. It means a lot to all of us, and it means a lot to Brad too, because he puts in a lot of work to put these posts out for you.
Yeah, well said. Anything else? Anything you guys want to add to? I kind of skip past it real quick, but we haven't been doing music or beer much on the show. We still plan to mention it on occasion. Can't change who we are. We're drinking craft beers right now, and we're chatting about music, but just focus the show a little bit more on gaming. Anything you guys want to add to that before we close her down for 2 weeks? Before Karl goes on holiday for what? Is it 12 weeks this time, Karl? You're taking a holiday, or
right?
No, just 3 weeks or so. Yeah, just a little break needed. It's been a while, so I think I've had 2 full months at work, so I need time to get out again.
Freedom 35.
Yeah, man, it's too much. But yeah, nothing specific about beer other than just drink in moderation.
There you go. Shane, anything?
Nah, I'm good, man.
All right. Shane and I will be back in 2 weeks. Trying to get Karl on there some way or another. Hoping he records a little bit or two, sends it our way so we can include it. We can't have a show without all 3 of us. No pressure, Karl.
I'll be there in some capacity. Don't you worry.
Oh yeah,
trying to stay on schedule. We're shooting for a whole year every other week. Think we can make it? ABOG
so far so good, man.
Yeah, so far we're February.
We're nailing this.
Oh man, awesome. Well, thank you everybody. We appreciate it. Thanks for being there with us. Head over to our website, abandofgamers.com. Leave a comment in the show notes for this episode. Go over to Brad's blog post for refers to Agenda, the deadbeat bang of Heartbreak City. Which I quite like. Until next time. Adios.